Thank you, Lisa. We are going to answer questions from our audience. Again, type your questions into the questions box and press send. Also, as a reminder, if you are requesting pesticide credits from this presentation, don't forget to sign out of this presentation. Go to the audience chat box and type your first name, last name, and states for which you are requesting credits. So let's take the first question. And Lisa, the first one is, could you harvest at night like green onions and wine grapes?
Yeah, so the question about night harvesting, it certainly can be done. We have some growers in our eastern part of the state where it's really hot during the day. They'll harvest, starting at 3, 4 o'clock at night before it gets too high. And also, although it's a different crop, our blackberry growers in the Northwest, such as in Oregon, engage in night harvesting. You'll just have to make sure that you have appropriate precautions and lighting in place.
Okay, and the next question, what type padding material works best in the packing house? I can think of a couple places on my line that padding would help, but I am not sure what type to get.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm a little bit reticent to recommend padding just because of some of the biofilm formation that we're seeing, or unless you have really good sanitation protocols in place. I would say the first step that I would go to would be to talk to someone like a GAP certifier, if you're GAP certified, because they do have some limitations on what you can and can't use. And if you're not using the appropriate material, they'll have you remove it.
Okay.
Yeah, the other thought too, is just as I'm percolating on this, might be to also contact the manufacturers or those that helped you set up your line as well. Like if you have a WECO sorter or anything like that, they might also have some recommendations. But again, I would definitely go with a GAP certifier, whoever might be certifying your fruit, to make sure they are in alignment with your decision.
Okay, and another question, Lisa, was any data taken on internal bruising after packing greater than 24 hours?
Yeah, so we did collect internal bruising data in 2000, well, every year except some of the data that I presented on harvest operation conditions where we changed the ground speed and the head gap. We didn't do internal bruising after 24 hours, but our normal standard protocol for machine harvester trials was to look at internal bruising after 24, 48 hours, and then 7, 14, 21, and 28 days.
If there are any other questions, we'll give it another minute or so. And
yeah, and I'll just add, as you're typing or percolating on questions, we are hoping to move forward with some additional trials in 2021. Our project funding has kind of ended, but kind of not. We got an extension because of COVID, although we were still able to complete a lot of things, which we're very proud of, and kudos to the student. But new harvest technology we're very interested in. We might be looking at new technologies utilizing air and soft catching surfaces as additional tools to harvest for fresh market. So if you have ideas, or if you're in the manufacturing industry and have something that you'd like to see tested, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Lisa, I don't see any more questions.
Sure.
And that's about all the time we have. And thank you, Lisa, for your time and expertise. And to all attendees, thank you for attending this presentation. Don't forget to sign out for pesticide credits in the audience chat box. All educational presentations and the virtual trade show will be available for you to access until April the 30th of 2021. So come back if you missed a presentation or just want to rewatch it, or if you need to search for a service or product provider in the virtual trade show. Again, thank you for your participation, and this concludes this presentation.